Hello, everybody. My name is Jacob Fuqua, and today I'm going to be talking about a transition program into secondary education. This is a part of an action research course, IL 510 at Jacksonville State University, and the date is July 28th, 2024. Okay, so the location that my action research project is going to be taking place at is B.B. Comer Memorial High School, which is in Sylacauga, Alabama. B.B. Comer is a part of the Talladega County school system. The demographics of the school, we have 401 students that come from mostly middle to lower class families, and all of the students are on free or reduced lunch. The school consists of 254 white students, 115 Black or African American students, 18 Hispanic or Latino students, 13 students of two or more races, and one American Indian or Alaskan Native. Now, the issue for this action research project is office referrals. In the 2023-2024 school year, we had 544 total office referrals. Out of those total, 227 came from seventh grade alone, which equals about 41.7% of all office referrals. So we realized this was a problem when we looked at data from the 2016 to 17 school year all the way up to the 2023-2024 school year, and seventh graders in that 8-year time span accounted for nearly 30% of all office referrals. Now, that does not include the 2020 to 2021 school year because of COVID-19 and the fact that majority of kids were not in school. So the numbers would have been very skewed if we had used that data. But due to many behavioral problems in our schools or in our school, classrooms are often being interrupted, and learning is often interrupted. Some students aren't able to focus on what they need to do because of these discipline issues and things like that. So my hypothesis for this project is that transition programs will decrease the amount of office referrals and positively impact behavior of seventh grade students transitioning to high school. Some running definitions that I have throughout this project is one, a transition. It is the process of a period of changing from one state or condition to another. That is going from B.B. Comer Elementary School to B.B. Comer High School. Another is a referral. Okay, sometimes referrals are good. In this case, referrals are bad. Is the act of directing someone to a different place or person for information, help, or action, is often to a person or group with more power or knowledge. Here, it's sending students to the office for an action to be taken based on their behavior. So it's bad behavior. Administration is the management or running the school, the principal, assistant principals. Infraction is a violation or infringement of a law or agreement. For this project, it's a student who breaks a school rule. The emphatic approach, which is one of the things that we'll talk about in just a second, is an approach derived from a willingness to deeply understand and prioritize social emotional needs of another during a crisis or time of difficulty. We'll talk more about that in a second. An intervention is the act of interfering with an outcome or course, especially of a condition or process. For us, it's talking about school-based interventions. What is the school putting in place to limit or to basically improve students' functioning so that we have less office referrals. And then psychological, that's of or affecting or raising in the mind related to the mental and emotional state of a person. More so, psychological is what different psychological aspects are students experiencing when they're making that transition from an elementary to a secondary school. All right, so part of my project, there was research conducted and a literature review was posted. It was conducted identifying the benefits of a transition program on students. And among them, there's basically 4 main aspects that were beneficial or that a transition program improved for students and their behavior. The first is mindfulness training. So teaching students to self-regulate their emotions. Basically, when students kind of get a little angry at things, just teaching them how to self-regulate and calm down themselves instead of blowing up and having other behavior options, or not options, but other behavior incidences. Another is school-based interventions. Mentioned that in the definitions. Okay, school intervention is to help remedy an issue or show empathy to students to teach them instead of just punish them for their actions. Okay, um, talking about the emphatic approach in the definition. Okay, the emphatic approach is essentially teaching a student why they did something wrong and trying to correct it instead of saying you did something wrong, go to the office. The emphatic approach is reasoning with a student, teaching them why they did wrong, showing them how they did wrong, and showing it how it impacted others so that in the future they might think before they act. Another aspect of it was student-teacher relationships. That also kind of goes in with the emphatic approach a little bit. If a student can connect to the teachers during this transition program, they'll feel safe and comfortable in their classrooms, and they'll be less likely to misbehave in those classrooms. Basically, if the students if the students trust the teachers, if students trust the teacher in the first few days of school, then that could speak a lot later on down the road of if that student is a behavior problem, or if that student trusts the teacher and they respect them and they feel safe and comfortable in the classroom. And the last one was the psychological aspects the students face. So students experience a lot of self-esteem and self-confidence issues entering high school. They're the younger kids now, so they're no longer the big dogs of the school, so to speak, like they were with elementary. So they experience a lot of self-esteem and self-confidence issues. So transition program kind of can create different ways of maintaining students' images of the self and have a positive impact on their self-esteem. To that way they kind of understand where they're at and fit in, but they don't suffer from the psychological aspects. They can challenge that self-esteem and self-confidence and grow from it. This action plan, it will consist of a qualitative research approach. Basically, I will be analyzing data. Towards the end of this, I'll be analyzing data from the 24 to 25 school year to see if this transition program was effective in lowering the behavior and office referrals. The data will be collected and sorted that will align with grade level. Obviously, I'll be analyzing more 7th grade than the others, but still, based off the percentage-wise of the school, 7th graders should not account for 30% of discipline or 41.7% of discipline. We ideally want all the discipline. We have 7th, 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade, so you want them to show about an equal amount. This table here shows tasks that are to be completed or have already been completed. Mostly this is in line with the 510 action research course that I'm taking. A lot of the things that have already been completed were a part of the course, and then these few things at the bottom, such as training the staff on the transition program and teaching and introducing students to it, monitoring students, analyzing data, all of that will be conducted when the school year starts in August. The dates are there as well, so that kind of gives you a timeline of what to expect. All right, so the subjects and participants. The subjects of this project will consist of 7th grade students at B.B. Comer High School. The students will be transitioning in high school for the first time, which makes a transition program ideal for this group of students. Participants will also include all the 7th grade teachers because they will have to teach the transition program. They'll have to also monitor students in the classroom and their behavior and things like that. And they'll have to use the emphatic approach and use other school-based interventions that we're going to that could be included. They're going to have to use those in order to monitor students and try and enforce this transition program. Also, the principal and assistant principals will be involved, the counselors will be involved, and different central office personnel will be involved as well. So those are the subjects are the 7th graders, and then the participants are all those that will be monitoring, implementing, if they have behavior problems, who the students will be going to, things like that. All right, and then lastly, the references that I have, these came from the literature review part. All of these articles and authors here gave great insight into transition programs and how to deal with students transitioning from one school to the next. They also deal with different school-based interventions, also deal with mindset and the mindfulness training and different psychological aspects that students may face in the transition to a secondary school. If you have any questions about this, please feel free to reach out. Thank you.